Welcome to the Landscaping Podcast. My name is Joel Barnett and I'm your host. And in today's episode, I'm talking with Shannon Blackbourn from Panacea Landscapes. So Shannon runs a landscaping and maintenance business based in Canberra and only relatively new in the business, having it for about 4 years, but she's had plenty of experience before that and a diverse range of areas that she was working in as well. And one thing I liked in this chat with Shannon was that it kept popping up how wherever she worked or studied, she had good relationships with the people that she was working or studying with, and then keeps that relationships going on, and then catches up with them later, many years down the track as well. So it's a sign of a good person if you're building those good relationships. And also liked how she ideally would like to focus on therapeutic horticulture. So it's good if you can, it's one thing to love what you do doing horticulture or landscaping, but being able to then niche down into that's a positive thing as well. I thought it was great that she's getting business advice early on in the career as well. So good tips to take away from this chat with Shannon. So hopefully you enjoy this chat with Shannon Blackbourn. Shannon, thank you for joining us on the Landscaping Podcast. My first question for you is, how did you start in the industry?
I was given year 11 to go to work, and my mum was like, stop wasting my money and get a job. I wasn't allowed to leave unless I picked a trade, and I chose horticulture. So I studied at Western TAFE in Canberra and finished that.
So what was the work you were doing when you skipped school?
Landscaping and working at a in a cafe. So
All right. So you already, did you sort of choose it like when before you actually left school, did you choose it because you wanted to do it or just because it was a job that you knew about?
it was a job that was available.
Yeah.
I didn't actually know that I would love it the way I do now. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
really grateful that I chose it now because I
Yeah, I
couldn't.
know there would be a lot more less talk, like less known jobs, but I wouldn't have had a clue what landscaping was when I was at school. So I think there's people trying to do work on getting education about telling people how awesome it is, but I reckon it'd be a lot more popular if people knew about it.
Yeah, a lot more. Like I thought grass was grass and trees were trees, and yeah, it just blew me away after spending time at TAFE how cool it was. Yeah.
What was the landscaping company you worked for? What sort of work did they do?
Oh, I can't really remember. It was residential. Yeah.
Was there any
Yeah.
maintenance in it?
Yeah, lots of maintenance. So as well. Yeah. So maintenance is probably my passion or my strength. Yeah.
So, and then with that TAFE, is that still around? Because
No, they
I know
shut it
CIT
down.
is the main one.
Yeah, it was a beautiful TAFE. It was only for landscapers, turfies, and like it was a horticultural TAFE.
All right.
Yeah, and they shut it down, which is really sad.
And
Yeah.
did you have a lot of people coming from like traveling a fair distance? Because I spoke with the folks from CIT a year or two ago. I was amazed at how far people are traveling to study there.
Yeah, like people come from Goulburn and all out west. They would come to Canberra to study. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every week they'd drive in like hours.
And did you like have good relationships with those folks as well and like kept in touch with or followed their business or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm still in touch with a few now. Yeah, which is good. Canberra's a small place too, so
Yeah, I equate it similar to like a bigger version of Geelong because like a lot of people know, everyone knows what you're up to and you know all the businesses in Geelong. So,
yeah, all the
which
time.
I love it.
Yeah, that's why you always want to leave your job on a good note.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't just move an hour away being in Melbourne because,
No.
yeah.
Yeah, everyone's, mothers, sisters, cousins knows someone, yeah, that you've
Yeah.
worked for. So,
So was it scary at all when you left school to start studying or the like doing
I
the
loved,
apprenticeship?
yeah, I loved it straight away.
All right.
Yeah.
And who
Yeah.
was it you worked for?
It was a small residential company called Seeds to Trees. His name was Andrew, and he was lovely. I called him up for the job, and he was like, "Oh, do you know how to mix two-stroke?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "Do you know how to start a lawnmower?" I was like, "Oh, not really." He goes, "Yep, you'll be perfect." And I was like, "Okay." So yeah, he was good. He gave me a start. And then I worked for parks, like they were called Canberra Horticulture then. So working in the Parliamentary Triangle. Yeah.
What what's that? Is that like
Parliamentary Triangle's like where Parliament House is and Old Parliament House and yeah.
so that is that like a government owned thing and they like
Yeah.
maintain their own areas?
Yeah. It was all like, yeah, government city parks and gardens. Yeah.
Was there much like new stuff getting done or you were doing just maintenance or like did they do much works?
A little bit around, yeah, a little bit around the lake they would, but it was mostly maintenance. Yeah.
So how long were you with the first fella? To
So I think 2 years, and then I did my last 2 years with Parks, and then I moved to Hamilton Island and worked up there.
Oh, nice.
That was good. It
Bit
was
bit
really good.
different.
You don't get a lot of money up there, but the life
Yeah.
was amazing. So
Yeah. Do you get like free accommodation there instead?
yeah, you're in little dongers. I was just lucky enough to move in, like, because you share a donga with someone else. They put you in with someone else, and she's still one of my best friends today. That yeah, we worked
Awesome.
in the gardens together. Yeah.
Where was she from?
Sunny Coast. So she was
Oh,
actually there at the show this year.
oh,
Yeah,
nice.
we came down
Yeah,
just
awesome.
to help. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so how was that going working on like with completely different plants?
Oh yeah, no, it was completely different. Like you could just propagate things by chopping them off and sticking them in a bucket of sand, and they would be ready to go in a fortnight. Yeah, and you could put them in the ground. Yeah, so a lot different to here. A lot of easy.
Yeah. Did you have much of a passion for like the tropical style plants before you went there?
No, I didn't really. Well, I never really worked with them until I got there. I'd never been to the Whit Sundays before, so that yeah blew me away too, flying into that place. Yeah,
Then
yeah.
how long were you there for?
For about 3 years.
All right.
And yeah, I worked in Sydney, and then I went back there. Yeah, for another few years, and then came back to Canberra.
So did you get to do much like traveling up there as well? Like were you experiencing all the touristy stuff?
Yeah, we did everything. So we yeah traveled around and drove home. And we used to drive home, a couple of times a year too to come home, and we used to do lots of fishing. So we used to bring back all the fish back
Yeah,
home.
nice.
I think my mum's freezer was full of Spanish mackerel for every month of the year.
Yeah, nice.
Yep.
That's yeah. I went up there to propose to my wife so on Whitehaven Beach. I went up there, so that was
Where did you do it?
on Whitehaven Beach.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
that
good
was
spot.
good
That's
times.
yeah, it's so yeah, good spot. And then did you stay on the island?
No, we were on Hamilton Island, so we just
Yeah.
went there for just a day trip there. But yeah, like that place is just heaven. Like
Did she know you were going to propose?
no, because we're only 7 months in, so yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
had to lock her down
You're
pretty quick.
keen.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
so we just celebrated 16th wedding anniversary, so it worked out all right.
Oh,
So
congratulations.
so far, anyway, we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, it worked.
So with when you said you worked in Sydney, did you sort of were you at Hamilton Island, then went to Sydney, and then went back to Hamilton Island?
Yeah. 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 So I worked for a landscape company there doing civil, a lot of civil and yeah, parks and construction. I did work in their maintenance team first,
Yep.
and then I was working in their office doing estimating and designing. So I was studying at Sydney at Ride TAFE
Oh,
doing
nice.
design. So that was a good TAFE too.
Yeah, yeah, it's got a
Yeah.
good reputation.
Yeah. So that was great.
So you were studying design there, were you?
Yeah, studied design there.
And again, have you followed careers of anyone who you were studying with?
Oh yeah, we're still all still in contact, most of
Oh,
us
nice.
from class. Yeah, and they're all doing really well and using their design skills, whereas I haven't used my designer much.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I regret because I studied horticulture before I started landscaping. I don't know if it's because the internet was only new back then. That's how old I am. But yeah, I'd like to see where a lot of those people are, like what they went on to. I know one is a landscape architect, but I suppose a lot of them seem to be studying for their own hobby, like studying horticulture as a hobby.
Yeah.
So they're
Yeah.
probably
Well,
not doing much, but
there was lots of people studying landscape design who have just finished landscape architecture at uni, and they were in our class because they didn't know anything about plants and things. So they came to do the design course to,
yeah,
yeah,
that's exactly what my landscape architect who worked for me did. She did landscape architecture and then was working as well, like in commercial, but then off her own back went and studied landscape.
design.
I think she was studying horticulture actually, so that she could learn more about the plants, which blows my mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you say you're not using much of the design, has there any time that you have? Like,
Oh
did
yeah,
you?
I've done yeah quite a lot of designs before in the past, but I just sort of gave up on the
Uh,
computer work. Yeah.
was the course teach you much about the computer work, or is it more about the fundamental ideas around it?
I think the last 2 years was yeah all CAD.
All right.
Yeah, so everything. pretty much, I think after the first 6 months, they wanted you to do everything on CAD. So
Yep.
yeah, so it was really good to learn. I think it keeps changing. So it's like the CAD program.
Yeah.
So I open it now and I find it a bit confusing, and I've got a lot of designers that can work for me yeah, that subcontract to me. So I
Yep.
figure I use them instead.
Exactly. So that's also a source of work. So you can send them work and then they can send you work for what you're specializing in. So it's not a bad way to do it
Yeah.
because you kind of need to be constantly doing it until you fully learn how to use it. So if you're doing one design every month or so, it's not really going to help.
No, like, do you use it? Like, do you do your own designing?
Yeah, but so I got my boss used Landworks CAD,
Yeah.
and he gave me a bit of a crash course on it, and then I don't know if I think I did like there was an online course you could do through Landworks CAD as well, and
Yeah.
then you can get feedback from them. So yeah, I did a little bit of it at the start, but I've been using it since 2008, I think. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's been a while, but I want to learn Vectorworks, and I own Vectorworks, but
Yeah.
I haven't got time to learn. Like when I've got a design, I want to get it out as soon as possible because it takes me a while to do it.
Yeah.
So I haven't got time to fluff around with it.
Yeah, you definitely need the time on it. Yeah. So yeah, I was really lucky in Sydney because I worked under a really amazing designer who actually designed the garden in Melbourne. We're still friends for me.
Right?
So
Oh,
yeah.
that's
And
awesome.
yeah, I worked under her, who's a good friend of mine still. And yeah, I learned a lot from her. That was a really good company that, yeah, in Sydney. That was GJ's Landscapes. I don't know if you've
Ah,
yeah. Sydney and Melbourne are probably
yeah.
pretty far
Like,
apart.
like
Yeah.
in even in Geelong, there's 125 landscaping companies. So
Wow.
imagine how many there are in Melbourne and Sydney.
I know. I feel like everywhere I drive, even in Canberra, everyone's got a trailer and a gardening business.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's not
Getting
even
popular.
referring to garden maintenance businesses as well. So
Yeah.
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 So did you when you were working for those companies in Sydney, were you doing much construction there as well, or
Yeah. So yeah, a little bit of construction. Yeah. A little bit of maintenance. And yeah, I did spend a lot of time in the office. So when I started the design course, my manager at the time pushed me in and said, like, you'll be fine, you can do it. And gave me, put me up for a job in there with them estimating and designing. So I was very grateful for him.
so
Yeah.
were you estimating full projects like design and construction, or just the
No, I think
construction?
there's a lot of quantifying really for, yeah,
Yeah.
more. But yeah.
And did you enjoy that, like being off the tools much, or do you prefer to be
I
outside?
did enjoy it. I think I gained about 20 kilos being
Yeah,
in the office. So I was like, I want to be back outside,
that's
please.
that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's just
Yeah.
like, yeah, no one can be bothered going to the gym, so you just use your job as your workout. But then when you step it inside the office, that's not much of a workout.
Yeah, it did help me understand about, what happens before you get to a job and how much goes into it before you get to a job. And that they're not just in there eating croissants and drinking coffee all day,
Except on
That's what it
Fridays.
looks like. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you can imagine how frustrated some people will get, like when their project goes out to site and a landscape is building it, and then they just make a change just flippantly, but they
Yeah.
don't realise the amount of work that's gone in to make it look the way they've done it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, going back to Hamilton Island, like how long were you there the second time?
I think another couple of years. Yeah. But I think I'd been away for about 5 years in between, and I think my pay went up about 5 cents or something.
Nice.
Yeah, so they
Did you?
don't, yeah, it's not the best paying, but I don't know what you get from living up there is amazing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty awesome experience.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I couldn't afford to live there for that long. So I was lucky to work there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's one of those things. Like I could go to Melbourne and get paid more, but it's it's not all about the money.
No.
So, you need a life as well. So,
Yeah. I know if all my family was up there, I would have stayed. But
yeah.
everyone I loved was here. So I had to come home eventually.
And then, so who did you start your own business when you came back, or were you working for someone else?
I came back and I was working for someone else here in Canberra. He was amazing. He owns DZ Designs. And then I worked for an engineering company. And then after I had my second child, I wanted to start my own business.
So, what were you doing at DZ Designs? Were you designing?
No, I was working in their construction team.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
and what sort of work were you like? What sort of? Like, was it
Oh, he did
a lot of
beautiful
hardscaping?
jobs. We did, yeah, lots of stuff down the coast as well, and yeah, all beautiful jobs. Yeah, if I hadn't gotten pregnant, I would have stayed.
Right.
Yeah.
Which coast was that?
The South Coast, so it's like
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Bay, Ulladulla. Yeah, yeah, that's our closest beach. Yeah.
yeah. I didn't think there was many in Canberra.
No. Yeah.
So how long between finishing up the engineering company and then did you start your business?
They sort of coincided. I was doing a little bit of work on the side on the weekends, and then yeah, it turned very quickly into becoming a business. So I had to quit my job or put my resignation in, and I was a bit scared to make the move that I'm
Yeah.
going to make enough money or have enough work. But as soon as I stopped, it just came. The work came flooding
And
in,
how
and
old were
hasn't
your kids at that
stopped.
time?
1 and 3. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That,
yes. So.
that is intimidating.
And I thought that I wanted to start my business so I could spend more time with my children and make my own times, but I think I work now more than I ever have in my whole life. Yep.
Yeah. It's funny when people say, oh, I want to start my business to get more freedom.
Yeah.
That is not freedom.
No.
No.
No. So yeah, you've definitely
So
got to love it.
yeah, yeah. That whether you're doing it for yourself or just in general, it's a hard job. So yeah, there's more high paying jobs if you just care about the money. You're better off going
Yeah.
and do that.
Yeah, I know. We were working out the other day with my accountant how much money I'm actually making if I added up all my hours, and
Yeah,
it's not a lot.
yeah.
Not a
Yeah,
lot per hour anyway. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't work those hours working for another company, but
No,
and then
exactly. Yeah.
yeah, and I tell my guys that they earn more per hour than what I do,
They
but there's
probably don't
also a
believe
lot
you.
of
Yeah.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
also a lot of other benefits you get, like claiming things when you've got a business that you
Yeah.
don't really factor into in your wage, but
No.
if
Yeah.
you're working for somewhere else, you're paying for them as well.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. No, I definitely
So
wouldn't change it. Yeah.
yeah, when did you first think that you might want to start your own business? Had it been something you always thought of?
I've just never really earned a lot of money and I sort of need to get a little bit ahead. And after I had my kids, I was like, oh, I had no savings account, had nothing. So I said it's time to just give something a go. Yeah. I mean, I've been managing and, running maintenance teams and things before, so I thought it'd be pretty easy to do on my own. I just grabbed the tools out of the garage and went for it. Yeah.
So what sort of advertising were you doing to let people know?
None, it was all word of mouth to begin with. Canberra's a pretty small place. I've had clients that I went to school with and, friends of friends. It didn't take long. It started as a maintenance business and then
Yep.
it quickly turned into an everything business. So yeah. And there is a lot of stuff that I don't do myself. I subcontract. I feel like I project manage more than I work.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so what year was it you started the business?
Must have been like 2021. Yeah, it was about 3 or 4 years ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
And when you got like, because it sounds like you've built a lot of like everywhere you've gone, you've got good relationships. So I think that's a key to being able to start your own business and on like with hit the ground running like you did.
Oh yeah, I definitely couldn't have done it alone. I was really lucky. I have lots of landscapers that I know in Canberra and garden maintenance people and lots of good connections. So yeah, it all happened because of everyone that I know for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Before I started my business, I like when I was going to get on my own, I worded up a couple of landscapers saying, if I can't get my own work, like, could I work for you or can you send me stuff? So it's good to
Yeah.
have that as a backup. So then you're not stressing out as much.
Yeah. Yeah.
So where did the business name come from?
Panacea. So I originally wanted to start the business as like a therapeutic horticulture business. So I studied therapeutic horticulture in Sydney as well at Padstow. And yeah, that's what I wanted to do. But it was really hard to get into allied health
Yeah.
areas doing that. There's lots of hoops to jump through. And so, yeah, I just started mowing lawns. Thought that'd be quicker. And yeah, so I'd still
And
like to do that one day. That's the dream anyway. So
yep.
panacea means a universal cure for something. So I
Right.
feel like that's what gardening is. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah. Because I've had Stephen Wells. You would have listened to his episode on
Yes.
the podcast.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I've been to lots of his talks. Yeah.
yeah,
He was a
yeah,
part of that. Yeah.
yeah. Just not only awesome to talk to, but just an awesome person as well.
Yeah. Yeah. He held lots of therapeutic horticulture conferences and things in Sydney. Yeah.
So, what sort of things do you do to incorporate that? Like, is there anything you can do to start incorporating that into what you're doing, or is it sort of something you need to focus on 100%?
Yeah. So I think it's mostly because it's used in allied health. So, I mean, there could be. We've done a few gardens and things for, in retirement homes and things like that. I also worked at actually a really great company here in Canberra called Mulch, and they have people who have disabilities, but they're left school, but they're not able to enter the workforce. So they have a garden that they can come to and work in, and that was really amazing. So yeah, I was working there as well a little bit while I was pregnant.
Yeah, yeah. Because it'll be another one of those things where you kind of start making those relationships by doing things like that, and
Yeah.
and then you just contact like hospitals or whoever that kind of thing is, and let them know what you can do.
Yeah, so people are becoming more interested, which is good. They're still trying to get it certified.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
So that everyone who does it has got a certification in it. You mean?
Yeah, well they ran that course in Sydney at like Padstow TAFE, and then I don't know what happened. They've just stopped it. So whether they didn't have enough people or enough money. So
Hmm. It's. I don't think I'd like to work in TAFEs because there seems like there's a lot of I don't know. They just seem to have to stop courses because of funding or interest, or it seems like a really difficult thing to organise.
yeah, and they do a lot of work. My mum's a TAFE teacher, and they do lots of work that's
Yeah,
not accounted for. I feel
yeah,
like, yeah.
yeah. That's teachers in general as well. Like the amount of planning for good ones anyway, like that goes into it.
Yeah. Well, now public schools, they take extra days off now to be able to plan.
Yeah. So what sort of work are you doing now in terms of the breakup of design, construction, or maintenance?
So I'm always doing maintenance. So there's monthly maintenance that we do. Construction is all residential at the moment. It's just lots of small jobs. So there seem to be jobs that no one else is doing. No one wants to do small jobs. Everyone wants the big,
Yeah,
really big, beautiful jobs. But yeah, I don't know. I think anyone who's, lovely, I'm happy to work for. I'd rather work for lots of nice people than, yeah.
yeah, yeah. I don't know if it was today or yesterday. I've been talking to people recently about, um, like, because all of our jobs are massive, but you can make better percentage profit on the smaller jobs because less things can
Yeah.
go wrong.
Well, yeah, exactly. And the money comes in and goes and comes in and goes. And I found it's easy to follow.
Yeah, yeah. The
Sometimes
cash
it's
flow.
hard to work out the calendar, but yeah, the cash flow is, yeah, easier to manage, I think.
Yeah. And how many employees do you have?
I have 5 at the moment.
All
Yeah,
right.
so everyone's casual. Some only work 1 or 2 days a week. Some work 4 days a week.
Yep.
Yeah.
And when did you put your first one on?
3 years ago, I think I was working for myself on my own for maybe a year. And then I put someone on and yeah, and then a
Was
couple
scary?
more. Yeah, it was scary because yeah, when I got my first workers' comp bill, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's the same everywhere, but ours just went up 43%, I think.
Wow. Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
insane.
And does it work on a percentage of what you pay your employer?
Yeah, it's
So
like
what you get paid?
I think it's 4.4% or something like that. It doesn't sound like a lot, but
No, I think ours is like nearly 10%.
all right.
That's what it works out
Is that
as.
because you do maintenance, so that's more dangerous maybe?
I don't know. Yeah, it's a lot. I think Canberra's just more expensive for some
Oh,
reason. So yeah,
that,
because I was talking to someone the other day who are in Sydney and I was saying, yeah, Canberra is really expensive.
that's
So
crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, the annoying thing I found was when I put on the landscape architect, even though she's not working outside with us, she's classified as because that's our main source of income is construction. She
Yeah.
was classified as doing construction, so
Oh,
her
there you go.
her wage was lumped in with ours as well.
Yeah, okay.
Whereas I think like office work, I think is like 2% or 2 point something.
Yeah,
But
okay.
because yeah, that's just just one of those stupid things.
Well, to be fair, there is a lot of things that can go wrong.
Yeah, yeah, paper
Yeah.
cuts and all
On
sorts of
site.
things.
Yeah. Oh no, like out
Yeah,
on
yeah.
site. Yeah.
Oh, look, don't get me started on a chainsaw. That's a
Yeah.
nightmare to use.
Yeah.
My first boss, he was a tree lopper before he started landscaping or tree climber. So yeah, every now and then he'd still get a job. So we'd go out there and cut a tree down. Like it's insane to watch him work. Like
Oh, yeah. Well, they're all crazy. Was he
yeah,
crazy? Yeah.
yeah.
What was
No, he
that?
wasn't. But he
Okay.
every now and then we caught up with like the crew that he worked with.
Yeah.
They were still doing it. And they were all crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you got to be, I don't know, to climb that far. Their insurance is phenomenal too, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, watching him like tie ropes and lower the branches down and knowing where they fall, like it's so cool to watch someone that good at what they do.
Yeah, definitely.
But then so he'd be up the tree dropping branches, and I was supposed to be down there cutting them and taking the rope off, and I cut one of his good ropes, so that didn't go down too well because they're not cheap. But at least he knew before he had to use it again, so
Yeah, that's good.
could have been worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, like even things just like hedging tools, like if you accidentally go to grab that like out of instinct, I know people have done that before.
Yeah, hedge themselves. Yeah. Hedge legs and hands. You
Yeah.
wouldn't think you'd do it, but yeah, it happens.
Have you had many injuries for your
I
start?
haven't had, you're gonna jinx me, touch wood. I haven't had any injuries on site. So yeah, only my own, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Just when you start, you're bleeding from your hands, you don't know how it happened.
Yeah, yeah, that's
But yeah,
yeah.
we've had we haven't had any major, I don't think. Um, but just really little things like on cutting on bits of steel and metal stakes. So yeah, nothing too crazy, thankfully.
Yeah, I have seen some wild things happen working for other people. Yeah. I did
Yeah,
actually knock my front tooth out like
yeah, right.
a few months ago. Yeah, and it wasn't doing anything crazy. It just fell into the trailer.
Oh,
And yeah,
it's not nice to think about either.
no, it was horrible. I got to the fastest dentist I could. So please fix it.
Well, they look fine now, so they've done
Yeah, yeah,
well.
no, they're fixed now. Yeah.
Where I was when I was an employee, I left the job and we had a girl working there loading up a truck. She was digging out agapanthus with the machine and loading it up onto the truck. And I got back to the job and the machine was pointing with a bucket on the ground. So it had tipped and she was sitting down next to the machine. So because the agapanthus are so heavy when you get them in one go,
Yeah.
it had tipped that and then she just jumped off like while it was up in the air. So
Oh,
just rolled her ankle, but
oh yeah.
yeah. There's plenty that can go wrong, let alone when you're doing the maintenance with those machines with the blades as well.
Yeah.
So are you doing like you said you're not doing much design, but what sort of when would a project come up that you do some design on?
I do get quite a few where they come up and I just pass them on to friends of mine and then they
Yeah.
come back to me to price.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, they come up all the time.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So are you still getting, is it all just word of mouth now as well? Like you're doing any advertising?
I'm not doing any advertising, although they have a like a news platform here in Canberra called the Riot Act. I don't know. Have you heard of it?
I've
No.
heard of it. Yeah, I don't know anything
Okay.
about it, but I heard it sounds familiar.
Yeah, so someone nominated me for, I don't know, they have a thing on there about, landscapers in Canberra, and I got nominated and they asked me if I wanted to be seen on this platform. And I said yes, and we, wrote some things down and they gave me a lot of credibility actually. I get calls from that all the time.
Oh,
So,
nice.
yeah, which is good.
So is that like a thing that comes out regularly that you're involved in, or was it
Uh,
just
so I think they must update it every month because yeah, sometimes I get the same calls at the same time of the year.
all
Yeah,
right?
every month.
And a particular type of job or a quality of job that comes from it, or does it vary?
Yeah, everything. So yeah, they've been good. Yeah, they've been really good, and they keep it on there. So, and I think when people search, Canberra landscapers, it's one of the first things that always comes up. So
Nice.
I didn't have to do anything with Google or anything like that. It's there. I don't know how long it'll stay there, but yeah,
That's good.
yeah,
But that's the thing about getting word of mouth marketing. Like people who work in marketing talk about how it's terrible because it's not sustainable and all this other rubbish. But that's that's the best you can get. And then when you get that job, you do another good job. So like the more good jobs you do, the more people they're going to tell. So it's like a spider web that just keeps spreading.
it is. I think I've at least won a new job I've like won a job from the job that I've just finished. I'll
Yeah,
get another job from that, every single job that we've done. So whether it's the neighbor or their sister or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. I think I can't remember when I said it, but I did some filming for something, and I said I think it might have been the very first video I did like 16 years ago when as a ad for the business. But I said that the what we do is like a very expensive business card.
yeah,
So everyone who comes and sees it and thinks look awesome, says, "Oh, who did this?" So it's not just one person who's going to see it. Like
yeah,
there's heaps. So like, it's the same if you do a bad job. Like it'll spread faster if you do a bad job or something goes wrong. But
yeah.
but if you just keep all you need to do is just keep doing a good job, and then that your business will spread, and yeah, you get busier than you can handle.
Yeah. And I know people search a lot for, character. I find that, yeah, people always say, you weren't the cheapest, but,
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes if you just turn up on time, they think, "Oh,
oh, they
that's so
love
great."
that. They love that. So I've had people just so grateful. They're like, thank you for coming. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Everyone,
yeah, but people shocked when I answer the phone. Oh, I thought I was going to have to leave a message. I didn't think someone would
yeah,
answer.
yeah, yeah. I've definitely won jobs from just turning up. That's, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
just turn up, have a
And on
uniform on.
time. Yeah. They love, yeah.
It's so easy to do the little things that most people don't do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you ever got any like business advice off anyone about how to run everything, or you just making it up as you go like most people?
Yeah, I'm definitely making it up. I've only just sought out a little bit of help just recently because I've never understood, things like my profit and loss and all my sheets. And I've just been, well, I do know, what things cost and how reasonably how long they take. So I've never really had problems pricing things. But yeah, now I've been made to open it up and explain how I get these numbers and yeah, so yeah.
That's good that you're doing
It's
it.
been tough. Yeah.
Like you're still early in your business. Like it's only been 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a great accountant and I've got a lot of good friends who have businesses too, so that I can call on and ask questions. But yeah, I'm definitely winging it and yeah, so now I'm just being made to learn about the business and I've been told I need to know what's going on. So
And is there any like things that they've looked at and think, I can't believe you're still surviving with this happening?
yeah, because I think it's mostly how I come to the numbers that I come to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Did you
they're
start by just thinking, oh, this is what other people are charging, so I'll charge that? Or
yeah, so I think I did. There was a few jobs at the start where I was like, I'm just going to get a price in and see what happens. And then I work out that, that didn't work or that worked really well. And I just kept doing that, hoping for the best and hoping for the best. And I think I've done like a lot better than I thought I would by just giving it a go. And some jobs I didn't make any money on, but I learned so much from
yeah.
doing it. So yeah.
Yeah, like
Um,
people pay to go to uni to study business before they start a business, whereas you're just sort of paying by losing money on that job and
yeah.
learning.
And learning that way. Yeah.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's a little bit hard, but yeah.
Yeah, there's less hex debt that way.
Yeah, that's extent.
But when I started the business, I had no idea. My boss he was awesome actually. He did explain to me how you work out the hourly rate, like by
Yep.
adding all your expenses and divided by 220 because that's how many days you could work in a year.
Yep. Yep. That's what I just learned the other day, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't do it. Like I knew he told me that's what you do, but I didn't do it because I knew he was charging like $55 an hour per person. And I
Hmm.
thought, well, he's got a shed, he's got the machines. I don't have them, but I'll just charge that anyway because people pay it.
Yeah.
So I was, yeah, making a lot of money at the start.
Yeah.
But then as my overheads grew, I didn't increase the hourly
Price.
rates. So it sort of caught up to me. And then by the time, and then a bad thing about being busy is if I make a change now on how much I charge, it doesn't come into effect for like 9 months when the next job that we're
Yeah, because
quoting
that's
comes
how
in.
far ahead you are. Yeah.
Yeah. And then by the time we get there, there's more changes you need to make. So it's just a thing you're always chasing your tail on.
Yes. Yeah. That definitely makes sense because I was doing the same. I knew what people were charging, so I was charging the same. And now I have, a
Yeah.
lot more bills and yeah.
And I've only learned that like in the last 5 years. And I've been going for 16. So
Yeah.
if you're learning it after four, it's good.
Yeah. I definitely need to understand it. The accounting stuff was really hard for me. I didn't know how to use Zero. I didn't know how to use anything. I didn't know how I was going to do anything. I was typing my invoices on Word documents
I still do.
to send to people.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Like
don't use you don't use a Zero or
no,
no?
I use QuickBooks for my like
Oh
through,
yeah.
yeah, I think like that's linked to my bank account. But quotes and invoices, I just print them out. I've got letterheads, I print them on the letterhead and
Yeah.
scan it.
And do you have them all set out? Like do you have them all like
Uh, co Now, like, I'll copy them. Like, I'll get the last one. I didn't change everything.
yeah.
Sometimes I don't change everything, so they think, "Why is this figure? This doesn't make any sense." I say, "Oh, that was on the last one."
Yeah.
But but yeah, and I know that there's because when I see an invoice come through, there's things I know that they've used like a Visio or whatever for it, and
Yeah.
there's things that don't make any sense on there, but they say oh, just because that's what Zero does or whatever. And I know you can probably um, modify it to your business, but yeah, I just like the way that mine look. So,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's not like it takes that long to do.
No, yeah, well, I wasn't sure how to do it, and everyone in Canberra was using Zero, so I thought, oh, well, if I can call on someone to help me if I get stuck. But I think I still only use a small portion of it to
Yeah,
what it can do.
yeah, that's like everything though. It's just like, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think I'm my because my accountant used QuickBooks, so she got me onto that because the other one, the one I was on before that, was like a really old school one called Cash Manager.
Oh yeah.
Like that was yeah. So no one they didn't want to use that anymore because they didn't want to do my books because it was so hard to do. So then they got me on the QuickBooks because that's what they used. But I think they're the only people who use QuickBooks because
Yeah.
I like no one else uses it except me and people in America.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah. So when everyone talks about Zero or Maya, I've got no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I did just get Tradeify too for scheduling because I needed something to schedule, and I had books printed out that I was going to get people to write in what they were doing on jobs, and it was just going to be more filing, more paper. So I'm trying Tradeify, but I've only just started it, and I only use it for scheduling. I know it does a lot more.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
again, it's one of those things like you need to use it to learn how to use it. Like you could,
yeah.
yeah, you could watch videos on it and have someone show you this is how you use it, but until you actually start using it, you're not going to understand what it can do.
No, and it does work really well because people can put in, how long they've been there, and they can put in photos of what they've been doing, and yeah, so it's good.
Yeah,
We're not on the phone 20 times a day. Where am I supposed to be and what am I
yeah,
supposed to be doing? So, yeah.
yeah. And that's a good thing as well because you can use it for the little amount you use at the start, and then just gradually add things to it. Like you think, oh, I just realized I can do this, so then we'll add
Well, it's
this.
supposed to be able to track your jobs, and I should be
Yeah.
putting all my construction stuff in there. It's supposed to be able to do everything.
So you're
But
supposed to be able to like upload the quote and then have the cost next to it and sort of
yeah, yeah. So you're supposed to be able to do all the tracking on it, which yeah, I feel like it takes up so much time, even just, yeah.
yeah. When I spoke with Dean Harold, he was talking about how like I asked him if he tracks his jobs.
Yeah.
And he goes, we do it a little bit, but like we're not keeping track of every Bunnings receipt that we spend and like
Yeah.
because you could spend too much time and effort on doing that kind of stuff, whereas yeah, it's not as important as the amount of effort some people put into it.
Yeah. Yes. So yeah, I haven't really tracked many jobs yet. I just been hoping for the best, but now I'm being made to, so to see where I'm at and what I'm doing wrong to
Yeah.
see. Yeah.
Yeah, my job tracking is a Microsoft Excel sheet that I printed out, so it's just like a grid,
Yeah.
and I just handwrite in what like I spend during the day and how much time was on it. So
Oh yeah, that's good
very
too. I
super old
love
school.
handwriting stuff. I've still got a big whiteboard that I love the whiteboard.
I've got about seven
Oh,
whiteboards.
okay.
I've got about seven of them.
Yeah, it's huge. It takes up like my whole dining room, but it's got my whole month on there and where
Yeah.
everyone is and what they're doing. And yeah,
So how do you go with that like scheduling when because I it's one of those things I want to do more of because when I do it and it works, it's amazing. Like you feel like you just money's just flying into your pockets because it's so productive. But
oh
then
yeah.
the amount of times that things go wrong and it changes everything that makes me not want to do it.
Yeah, so it is hard. Like, as soon as someone calls in sick or someone wants to change the time of their job or someone wants to do this, then yeah, it does. Yeah, you're sort of changing it all again. And at the beginning, I didn't want to do it because everyone changed everything, but I do like seeing it all there on the board, what I'm
Yeah.
supposed to be doing. Yeah.
Yeah. And when I first met you last year, I was at the Melbourne Flower and Garden Show because did you win that category?
Oh, we did, yeah, last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a balcony garden.
Yep.
Yeah, we did last year. And then yeah, that was good fun because I that was the first one I'd done on my own, or like for myself. The year before I was working with Emma Shepherd. on her. She was doing that Open Gardens, Victoria. It was Open Gardens.
Oh yeah, with all the women involved in it.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
it was women's only garden. So I was
Yep.
she did like a call out or something and for people in construction to come and help her and I jumped at that chance because
Yeah.
I mean I've been to the Melbourne Flower Show before. I've never been involved in a garden. So I was like, please. And she said, are you sure you want to come all the way from Canberra? And I said, yep. And she said, oh, it's volunteer. And I was like, yep. And yeah, and she was amazing. And all the women there, like, we're still really good friends. Yeah, it was beautiful, that garden.
There was a few from Canberra because Dan Cusack came down to help me out with mine that year as
Oh,
well.
yeah. Yeah, I do with Dan now. Yeah.
Yeah. Plant
Um,
man.
yeah, yeah. Have you had him on yet?
I plan on getting him on again. I don't think I'll get him on since he started the plant brokering, but
Yeah, okay.
that's my plan.
Yeah.
Because yeah, everyone who deals with him with his plants, like they're raving about how good they are and his service, which is no surprise because he's an awesome person as well.
Oh, they're so good. And like, I mean, I haven't had any huge plant orders off him, so probably what he's compared to, but he still always makes time for me and he always, gets my prices back really fast and everything that turns up is beautiful. And sometimes he'll go hunt for, one tree for me, like a
Yeah,
special tree that I might need while he's up there. He'll say, oh, I'll have a look. So yeah,
yeah.
hopefully he doesn't.
So so you're at the garden show and loved it. So then, how did you get involved with the balcony garden the year after?
I said I wanted to give it a go. And I spoke to one of the designers I used to work for in Sydney and said, oh, can we put something in? And she was like, yeah, I'll put something in for you and just tell me what you want to do. And so we did it together and put it in. And we weren't really sure if we were going to get in. I thought there was going to be like thousands of people applying, but
Say there was, and you beat them all.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's funny. Trent was saying that's what everyone thinks that so many people apply, but yeah, so more people should apply.
Yeah.
I reckon. Yeah. And
Yeah, it's
then,
funny. Some of the boutique gardens have been like that. Like there'd only be five who apply, and they're the ones who get in. But then when I was talking to the ones from this year,
yeah.
nearly all of them said that they applied last year but didn't get in.
And then they put it back in again this
Yeah.
year. Yeah. Yeah, they were really good this year.
So
And
when
then
did you know about when you got selected for the balcony garden?
they were pretty good. I think they told us they'd tell us before New Year's. So I can't remember when we put it in, but you got a little bit more time than the boutique gardens and things. So you got a little bit more time because I think they're a bit smaller.
Yeah.
So um I think it was about Christmas, New Year's, they let you know. And then you got 3 months to pull it together. So we just had to work out where we're going to get everything and who was going to do it. And yeah, and then we
Was
loved it
that a
last year.
challenge?
It was, I think, coming from Canberra. I didn't really
Yeah.
have the connections like that I do this year. So after being there that first year, I was really lucky, met lots of really good people. And then you sort of know the IMG staff, the people who run it. And that makes it all a lot easier. And you've got more connections in Melbourne, to be able to get plants and materials and yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I say that to nearly every interstate crew that come down that I find it difficult doing it from Geelong, which is only like an hour and a half or 2 hours away. So coming from interstate, I couldn't. Yeah, there's so much more planning you'd have to do.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, we only did two little gardens, so we could at least we fit them on a couple of trailers because we brought everything with us. Um, and you don't need a lot of tools and stuff when you get there, not as many as you think. You just yeah.
Yeah, so like the one last year's was certainly a lot smaller, but then they stepped it up again in
Yeah,
size.
so it went from, I think last year was like 2 meters by a meter, and this year it was like 5 by 2. So
Yeah,
they're almost like the size of a boutique garden, like a
yeah.
little bit smaller. Yeah.
But I don't think that's an awesome idea because that way you can get a more realistic view of what you could actually do on a balcony. Because some people's balconies are that size.
Yeah. Yeah, that was so good. And everyone there who did a balcony this year were really awesome. Everyone was helping each other and yeah, it was nice.
So when at the end of last year, after you had packed it all up, did you think I'm definitely coming back again next year?
Yeah, definitely. We had such a great time. Yeah, the people around there, it was so nice being a part of, all the really well-known designers and, people who do podcasts that you listen to all the time. Yeah.
I was at Landscape Victoria's one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that what the thing I love about it as well is you go back and there's people you only see at the garden show. So it's awesome just to catch up
Yeah.
with them again.
Yeah. And even like, all the girls that I worked with on the first garden, they all, popped in and hung out. Yeah. So it was really nice.
And
Yeah.
you said the design this year was the one you worked with when you were in Sydney, is that right?
Yeah. So yeah, same lady. Yep. Very
I
good
say
friend.
she did the first one as well.
Yeah. Lisa. Yep. So she's, yeah, she did this year's too. So, and our designs are a little bit, I don't know, they're a bit different. They're definitely not contemporary. We call them a little bit circus 'cause they're bright and colourful and yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know whose idea it was, but I love this year's one where you had I don't know, was it your mum
Yeah.
it
Yep.
was about like so there
Yeah.
was a painting on the wall of a woman's face and then the hair was that a convolvulus?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we tried lots of different plants. I had all these other ideas in mind, but that was the one that that ended up working the best. So
Yeah, it looked awesome. So the convolvulus was the flowing hair coming out of
yeah,
the
it was her
wall.
hair. She actually had used to have hair like that. It was exactly the same, but black.
Right.
Yeah, so it
Yeah, you can
represented her very well.
yeah,
Yeah.
you can imagine that being like curly hair. Like it looked that was my favorite part about it.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was really cool because she came to the show too and we got some photos of her with it and yeah.
Did you get any photos with her with that like draped over her hair as
Yeah, that
well?
would have been a good idea.
So have you got plans again for next year? Have you got to step up because it's incidentally got like accidentally gone from a one size
Small
balcony to a
balcony
bigger
to a
one.
bigger balcony.
So next step up is that an achievable or a boutique?
Yeah, I don't know. Is achievables only for school?
I think it is, yeah. The
Yeah,
students.
so we do. I mean, I do have a young guy working for me that's a landscape architect, so I'm trying to get
Yeah.
him to
Perfect.
hopefully push him to do that next year. And the girls that came up, yeah, hopefully they'll want to do a garden as well. So
Yeah.
I would like to put in for something a bit bigger, and then if I don't get in, then hopefully I can just help one of them do a
Yeah.
garden. So I
Yeah.
think we'll try and come back regardless. So.
Did you go to do like have any involvement or go to Floriade the last couple of years where they've done the display gardens there?
Yeah, this year I was away, which was a shame. I did speak to them possibly about doing one this year. But yeah, I did miss the ones this year and they looked incredible. So I was
Yeah.
following them and yeah, watching them. So
Yeah, I love that they've done that there because I think they used to do it and then it stopped for a while. Now they're bringing it back. So
yeah, which would be
hopefully
great.
do
I
it
know
again.
they didn't want it to be, I know they want to keep it as a flower show, like or a tulip festival.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it's really great that they're getting their gardens back in there. So
Yeah,
hopefully that happens every year now. Because
yeah,
I do know some people come to just see those too.
yeah. Well, I had no idea. Like I'd heard of Floriade and knew a little bit about it, but I had no idea that it's there for the whole month. So it's
Yeah.
yeah. So they've got to build in irrigation systems as well, get the plants alive, and
Yeah, and
so
then they pull it all out. So like when I was an apprentice, I worked in that park, in that
yeah, yeah,
Commonwealth Park, and they'd spend 3 months of the year getting it ready. So they bulldoze it all and at the end of a show and put it in piles. And we used to collect the flowers and take them around to hospitals and things like that. I think now they sort of bag it up as a Floriade mix and you can come in and take bulbs. Like you can buy bags at the end and
yeah,
take as many bulbs as you want. Yeah,
yeah.
and then they bulldoze it all and returf it like it was never there.
Yeah, it's
Then they
wild.
come back in and do the same thing. Yeah.
Even at the Melbourne Flower and Garden Show, when I went there to start 2 years ago, our build, you could still see the outline of the grass from the previous year. Like it doesn't look it doesn't blend in with the rest in 12 months.
No, does it
So
come
yeah,
back?
it
Yeah.
does slightly, but you can still see it. It's like a different shade of green.
Yeah, different grass.
It could
Yeah.
be that
Yeah.
might have
And are
gone
they staying there? The Melbourne Flower Shows are gonna
as far as
stay
I haven't
Melbourne
heard
Gardens?
anything. Yeah,
Yeah,
as
okay.
far as I know.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah. I
sure
don't know
that
where else
a
you'd
lot of
do
the
it.
a lot of the locals would be happy for it to be gone. I think they don't like when it gets closed down
No, no, yeah.
for a few weeks. But
Yeah.
have you heard something? Have you?
No, I thought I did, but then I was chatting to them this year and they said they didn't know what I was talking about. So
Are you just spreading rumors?
yeah, it must be. Yeah. Yeah.
So where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? Have you got do you do any planning like forward planning and try and achieve goals or anything?
No, I haven't, but I was asked this question, yeah, just a couple of weeks ago.
Perfect.
And I just hope I'm still doing what I am now, but probably more successfully. Yeah, I don't think I'd change anything.
What do you mean by successfully? What would that mean?
I guess so. It's running a bit smoother. So I think at the moment it's still all over the place. Got lots of jobs, lots of things going on. Yeah, I need to work out how to get them done.
Well, let me know if you work it out because
Okay,
I'm
cool.
in the same boat.
All right. So that's pretty standard. Yeah.
Well, not for people who know what they're doing, but I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm still making things up as I go.
Oh no, I think you're going all right.
But I enjoy doing it, so there's worse things. I could not have a clue what I'm doing and
Oh,
not like it.
no, I've thought about it so many times, like what would I do if I wasn't doing this? And I can't think of anything
Yeah,
that I would rather be doing.
you'd be miserable if you weren't doing this.
Yeah, definitely.
Like one of those people who hates their job.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And last question for you, Shannon. Who do you think would be a good guest to have on the podcast?
I thought about yeah, the three women that I work with on that first garden. So there's Emma Shepherd Sims, who from Planetary Landscape, La Muxlow from La Muxlow Gardens, and Anna from Jane Elizabeth Landscaping. And she actually works in Carlton Gardens. She's one of the head gardeners there now after she did one garden there and then she started working there.
All right. Didn't want to leave the place.
Yeah, so she's been watching it all come apart. Yeah.
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 Yeah, that'd be awesome to talk to actually, because I'd talk about what sort of work they've got to do to bring it back. That'd be great.
Yeah. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, all three of those would be good to talk to. So, because she won. I don't know. I remember seeing her and one other person won.
Yeah, her and Emma. So they did a joint border garden last year and they got the first
Yep.
spot and it was really, really beautiful garden. Yeah. So I think they're gonna try and come back too this year, hopefully, to the garden show. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
love that
they're all back there again.
it's not losing any popularity with people wanting to get involved with it, which I think is awesome.
No, I think people, yeah, they just love it and want to be involved. And IMG are really good too. They really
Yeah.
help the people that run it. They want to help you all the time, and they still, would answer my phone calls even though it was the 10th time that day and I'm asking for a question or a favor. They're still, hey, hey, go on, what do you need? Yeah,
Yeah, I was blown away. I was so impressed with how professional and good they were at what they do. Like they've got different people who are all amazing at the individual thing that they look after, but they just work
yeah,
so well together.
yeah. Like I don't know what I would have done without Gilly. I don't know if you've met Gilly.
Yeah,
There. He's always helping everyone
yeah,
in that
yeah,
place. Yeah.
yeah. All the forklift drivers are awesome. They just know, like they're just like cool, calm, and collected. They know everything that you need. Like
Yeah, and a
just
lot of them been there the last 3 years I've been there, all the same people.
yeah,
Like, so they must really like their job too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, absolutely love chatting with you, and it's good to catch
Thanks,
up with you
Joel.
at Mifkas now. And I hopefully we'll see you again next year. But thank you very much for coming on.
Yeah, I hope to see you then too.